ऐ देखने वाले, बस तेरी एक नज़र की ज़रूरत है, वरना जो भी बनाया है खुदा ने बेइंतहा खूबसूरत है। माशाअल्लाह ये जो कदम हम सब ने साथ मिलकर उठाया है, माशाअल्लाह ये जो कदम हम सब ने साथ मिलकर उठाया है, जाएगा बहुत दूर तलक, जाएगा बहुत दूर तलक, बस आपके प्यार और विश्वास की ज़रूरत है। With that expectation, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to Vision for India, a national conference on disability. The conference today marks the beginning of a series of conferences and brainstorming sessions that Sarthak has pledged to organize all over India to spread awareness about and develop platforms to enable and empower people with physical disabilities but immense special abilities. May I please invite Shri Krishna Kalraji on the stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. There are almost 50 to 60 million people with some physical disability or the other in the country. That's almost 5 to 6% of the population of the country. Half of them have visual impairment. Now that is the state of the situation, a daunting task for any government and society to ensure that these 50 to 60 million people live with dignity, they lead a productive life, and indeed we know of many cases where people around the world have actually done as well and even better than able-bodied people in the field of music, poetry, painting, literature, engineering, politics, mountaineering, and even sports. And then, of course, we have our own Dr. Jitendra Agarwal, CEO of Sarthak, a very fine organization which is instrumental in training and then placing people.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a happy augury that the disability rights regime is now all set to acquire newer, more progressive and forward-looking dimensions, more particularly in the aftermath of India ratifying the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. It's a very important international human rights treaty. Government of India has created a dedicated department in the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment known as the Department of Disability Affairs. If you take a look at the last 3 or 4 5-year plans, starting from the 9th 5-year plan, you will find a pronounced emphasis on what is popularly known as the rights-based approach to persons with disabilities. So a lot of exciting developments are happening. I think now that India ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in 2007, it is incumbent on the Government of India to revisit and revise this policy and make it even more progressive, make it even more compatible, make it even bring it even more in harmony with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
Can we collectively work together and ensure that 1 plus 1 doesn't actually add up to 2 but makes 11? So one of the big challenges in this sector is, like I said, there's so many institutions doing so, and I see many of you in this room are doing so good work. But what happens is that there are hundreds of organizations doing 100 to 200 people every year in different parts of the country with a different section of people. I believe that together, with the huge power and the capability in this room, all of us can be agents of change, and let's together work to create scale, sustainability in this space so that we can look at an agenda for inclusion and an agenda for growth that leads to huge levels of dignity and respect for people with different abilities, and that, I believe, should be the vision for India. So thank you very much for having me here, Mr. Kamra.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the morning session, we heard about Helen Keller. She said, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision." It is my pleasure to now invite on the dais the man who lost his sight but had such a strong and indomitable spirit and vision that it is because of him all of us have gathered here today. Dr. Agarwal, may I please request you to kindly come on the stage and share a few words with all of us.
I lose my external vision in the year 2004, and God was very kind to give me the inner vision to start Sarthak, and the vision to empower persons with disability. And our mission is to create Sarthak Adarsh Kendras across the country by year 2020 to empower persons with disability. When we used to talk to the corporates, it was tough to place a person with disability, but through our programs, I think now by 2014, now situation is totally different. And when we talk about the employability, overall employability scenario in India, around out of the total population, 0.15% people are employed. So you can understand that how big problem is this. And out of which are only 8% people with blindness are employed, 9% with hearing impaired, and around 70% are physically disabled are employed. And when we talk about the other disability with autism, cerebral palsy, so it's minimal. So situation is not that much good. And I like to request Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to mentor us to create this program, the model of the program, because he has done thousands of innovations in past. So my kind request to Dr. Kalam is to mentor us in creating this program so that each child with disability can live his life with dignity and integrity. Thank you.
The Tech Mahindra Foundation's vision is to empower through education and employability. I will just pause here for a second. That's exactly the lines that Dr. Agarwal also mentioned, that educating our children, leading them to employment is one of the key factors in their development and their happiness. I completely agree with you, and we are very happy that our partners and we as an organization are on the same page on this. We want our children to be able to be happy, to be independent, and to live a life of dignity and self-pride. Very, very happy to be here, and thank you for your patient listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I request you all to give a huge round of applause to Dr. Kalam.
I would like to greet my friend Dr. Jitendra Agarwal. Because of him, all of us assembled here, because of his mission. I would like to say, any disability increases dependence on others and reduces the self-esteem of the individual. Education has to be propelled and give thrust on building self-esteem among the differently abled. Researchers must direct their efforts in bringing about a sense of quality among the differently abled. Equality can be generated by the prevention, early detection, appropriate training to acquire certain skills, and engaging the minds of affected person in the protective efforts to enable them to lead a normal life. I am sure that such collective action and bringing a smile to the face of the differently abled person, their parents, and light the lamp of happiness in their family. So I would like to greet all of you. Such an important mission you are involved. So with this way, I inaugurate the vision for the India National Conference Disability. My greetings and best wishes to all the members of Sarthak Educational Trust and their partners, and success in their mission of empowering disabled with quality education with state-of-art vocational skills. May God bless you all.
सपने वो नहीं जो आप नींद में देखते हैं, सपने वो होते हैं जो आपको नींद ही नहीं आने देते हैं. ये शब्द हैं डॉक्टर कलाम के. Kalam sir, thank you so much. My heartfelt thanks to you on behalf of Sarthak and everyone present in this auditorium for gracing this occasion with your presence. We are indebted to you for that amazing speech that will inspire us for the rest of our lives. And the book that you see in your hand right now is a collection of stories of people who have trained with Sarthak and who have been employed by Sarthak. It's been put down as a book. It's called the Case History Book. This is for people who can read this and get inspired.
The key actor here is the social entrepreneurship NGO. There are two kinds of entrepreneurship. One is business entrepreneurship, which is Mahindra, Tata, various business groups, and the other is people like Dr. Jitendra Agarwal and many others who are here in the audience. It is because of them that other activities converge around them. India has a huge disability burden. It can be calculated in billions of dollars. If it is 7% of a 1.2 billion, that is 84 million, not the 60 million official figure. And if you look at the lifelong productivity contribution to GNP that these people can make, it is an enormous figure. It is better to spend 1 or 2% of the GDP on care of the disabled than to continue to have this burden. So government must create a huge infrastructure report. Mr. Goyal this morning was talking about it. And finally, the government of India must have much higher ambitions. We should benchmark ourselves only with China and the OECD countries, not feel satisfied that we are ahead of some South Asian country or some African country, but I think our only comparisons are China and the OECD, and India's rank in care of the disabled is now very low. We have to raise it. This is a part of government's vision in 2020, and this joint partnership of government, NGOs, and various other partners is what needs to take us forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalam, for gracing this occasion, for energizing all of us, and letting us see that there is huge amount of light at the end of the tunnel. Not a small, but a huge light at the end of the tunnel if we all work with hands united. Thank you.
What we've done is, I think we did hear about some of the people, panelists talking about sensitization. I think that's a big thing for us, especially because it's a people industry and there are a lot of people that these people work with. So the first step that we did was we chalked out a program with Sarthak as how to sensitize the managers and the people in the hotel industry in those hotels where they would be placed. So we had a whole training program. And not only that, we did not just stop there. We actually sensitized even the parents of these associates. So we called the parents to the hotels and we sensitized them because they need to know what kind of work these associates will be doing. Our employees, we call all our employees associates. So what kind of work these associates will be doing, and also what kind of pressures they will be having. Every corporate house environment, there's always some pressure. And then how do they deal with them, and what is the support that we would need from parents back home.
It's my personal privilege and pleasure to be here, and I'm really humbled, honored, and very, very excited to be part of a great cause such as this. Because if you look at the global statistics, they are not very encouraging. 14% of the global population suffers from one or the other disabilities. So this is probably the largest minority group in the world that we have. And if you look at India's story, of course, as per the latest census report, it may not be all right because it says only 2.25% of our 1.19 billion population are people with disabilities. So therefore, the size of the problem is quite huge. So every effort in this direction will be like a small drop in the whole ocean, but will definitely make a difference to the lives of these people who today, in the absence of an effort, are bound to live at the mercy of others.
अगर आज किसी मनोचिकित्सक को बुलाया जाए और हमारी एक साइकियाट्रिक इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो तो इसकी पूरी संभावना है
कि हम में से बहुत सारे लोग वो निकलें जिसको हम पागल कहते हैं। हम अगर आज इस वक्त मेडिकल एग्जामिनेशन सबका कराएं तो हम सब पाएंगे कि हम में से 30 to 40% लोग अस्वस्थ हैं, लेकिन हम हमेशा दूसरों को डिसेबल्ड कहते हैं। हम दूसरों के ऊपर उंगली उठाते हैं कि वो डिसएडवांटेज्ड है। हम ये कहते हैं कि दे आर पीपल विद डिसेबिलिटी। Probably we are equally people with disability. And if I operate from that mindset, probably things change big time. जमाने की रिवाजों का कभी वो नहीं कायल, उसने अपना ही एक निज़ाम बना रखा है। मोहब्बत वो नहीं करता, दोस्ती वो नहीं करता, अपने सारे अफसाने हवाओं को सुना रखा है। अंदाज बंजारों का सबका यही है कहना, अंदाज बंजारों का सबका यही है कहना, बस्ती से थोड़ी दूर एक चिराग जला रखा है।
NGOs play a very key and important role in dealing with and destructuring the stigma in the human mind related to disability or any other vulnerabilities in the society. So I would like to quote that disability is everybody's phenomena, and disability lies in the mindset first and then in the body. So breaking the barriers from the mindset is prime importance of concern today to actually work in alignment with the United Nations Convention for Rights for Persons with Disability.
There's a lot of advocacy to be done to the parents, to the opinion makers in the village, and we have a team of disabled youth themselves who go out to the homes, inspire other youth and bring them to our training centers. So the biggest challenge we feel is that whatever we do is just a drop in the ocean. It's everyone has to come together. There's a role for every partner, whether it's the government, whether it's the companies, whether it's society, whether it's the community, or whether the PWDs themselves. All these have to come together, and only then can we make real change in the country. Thank you.
Next we have a performance, another entertaining thing for all of you after a tiring day and long day. अनुज सार्थक के साथ ही उन्होंने ट्रेन किया है और वो एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन सिंगर हैं। तो अनुज हमारे लिए आज कुछ गाने पेश करने वाले हैं यहाँ पर।
ये हौसला कैसे झुके, ये आरज़ू कैसे रुके, ये हौसला कैसे झुके, ये आरज़ू कैसे रुके। मंजिल मुश्किल तो क्या, धुंधला साहिल तो क्या, तन्हा ये दिल तो क्या,